Today, you know, they talk about influencers. These are influencers, and they're friends of mine. Jack Posobiec. Where's Jack? Jack, who's done a great job.
Well, thank you very much. It's a great honor to have you here. Special place. White House is special no matter where you're from. Represents so much, and it really is beautiful. And thank you for all of the wonderful things that took place today. We've had a very successful day thus far, and important discussions as we work to end the killing and stop the war in Ukraine. We're all working for the same goal, very simple goal. We want to stop the killing, get this settled. I've just had the honor of being with President Zelensky and all of the discussions that we've had. We covered a lot of territory, and I spoke indirectly with President Putin today. We're going to call President Putin right after this meeting. I'm sure we're going to have a solid meeting, good meeting, maybe a great meeting, and we're going to try and work out a trilat after that and see if we can get it finished, put this to sleep, because this is not since the Second World War has there been anything like this.
We're very excited to be here at the White House with Ambassador Monica Crowley, who, now you guys remember those meetings that we got to be so honored to be a part of, to cover live, going to Anchorage, meeting with the Russian delegation, then the very next workday on Monday, holding the multilateral meeting with all of the world leaders here, the largest meeting of world leaders, I believe, and I'm going to check on this, that's ever been held here at the White House. We're here with the woman who put it all together and a great friend of the show, Ambassador Crowley. How are you?
Hey, Jack. Great to be with you. Thank you for having me.
How did you do this? How did you put it? So President Trump comes in and says I want to meet with the Russians, then I want to meet with everybody on Monday, and it falls to you. What is that like?
Well, first of all, it was great to see you on Air Force One going to Alaska for the president's meeting with President Putin. And it was a very productive day of meetings. And then we left Alaska, and we're on Air Force One coming back home. There were people starting to fall asleep in the cabin, but not our President Trump, who of course has superhuman energy and superhuman strength. So he was making calls the entire flight back to Washington, D.C. And at about 2 a.m. Eastern time, we hear from the National Security Council that we will have President Zelensky arriving to the White House to meet with President Trump on Monday at 1 p.m. So immediately we knew that we were going to have about 36 hours to put together that bilateral meeting here at the White House.
Okay, so...
But Jack, then we were told it wasn't just President Zelensky.
Right. And this was okay. So he's on the phone and he's wheeling and dealing, and he's on with the NATO leaders. He's on with Zelensky, and he said, "All right, let's get Zelensky in the room." And then you get another phone call, and they say he's not coming by himself.
He is not coming by himself. So we had a grand total of 8 world leaders, including 6 heads of state or heads of government, and 2 additional leaders for the European Commission, of course, and NATO. So we were bringing in 8 total within the space of 36 hours. And of course, we want all of these meetings to be run properly and right, because my job is chief of protocol, and I've got an extraordinary team working with me. They are just the best in the business. We want to make sure that we are creating the optimal environment for the most robust, effective diplomacy for both sides. So we make sure that the incoming world leaders have what they need in terms of access and resources and comforts of home. And then, of course, we make sure that the President of the United States has what he needs so that these events are being run properly, they're run well, they're run professionally, so that they can conduct the optimal diplomacy for the United States.
Well, I mean, I have to say, I was shocked to see it. I said, I can't believe this is a government operation, because I've never seen the government do something so quickly and so efficiently and do it so without a hitch, just without a hitch when it came to, in terms of the productions and the way it was done. People arrived on time. People, honestly, even in Anchorage, we left a little bit early and people were saying it was upset. So they're just done. As I kept saying it to media, I think they're just done.
Well, you know, Jack, we're in the government, but we are not the government. So President Trump is a private sector businessman, hugely successful, of course, and he has brought in so many people who've spent their entire lives and careers in the private sector. This is what we do. So when we found out we had 36 hours to put all of this together for the Zelensky meeting with the European leaders, we hopped to it, we didn't sleep, and we got it done. And we ended up creating an environment for a day of very productive talks.
You know, there was something that you mentioned just there about, you know, I caught wind of it as well. I was on the plane and I hear about this 2 a.m. business and we're holding because he's still on the phone. And now I realize what it was. He's putting the meeting together for Monday. So there was something he said in the meeting, and that struck me with what you said as well, where they were talking about the way the government works. And this is kind of what we're talking about, the speed of government versus the speed of business, the speed of the private sector. And where President Trump, I think it was Keir Starmer, it may have been one of the readouts, said, oh, let's set a date for the next round of meetings to be in a month from now. And President Trump says a month. No, let's do it as soon as possible, because there's so much killing that's going on. This is a war. We're trying to stop that. Is that really what's driving the president when it comes to all of the scheduling, the urgency, the quickness that we see here?
Yes. I mean, first of all, President Trump is a man of immediacy and urgency anyway. He doesn't believe in burning daylight. As our good friend Steve Bannon often says, right, he doesn't believe that. He realizes that he has X number of days in this presidency, in this term, to save America and make peace. He's also genuinely a man of peace. Of course, President Trump is driven by strategic imperatives for America's national interest. But what drives him even more so is the desire for peace and to stop conflicts and stop killing and the eradication of innocent life around the world. That's why he's been so successful in bringing together parties that have been at war for decades. So when he said, no, we're going to make this call to President Putin tonight, and we're going to make this happen today or tomorrow or in the next day or so, not in the next month, he literally made the point, Jack, that in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, we are losing, or they are losing, between 3,000 and 5,000 soldiers on both sides per week. And he said that is totally unacceptable. If you let it go a longer period of time, more innocent life is going to be lost, and we will not stand for that.
And I want to just say to the audience for a second here that for people who understand, they say they have all these cynical ideas about the president. Oh, he just wants money. Oh, he just wants this. He wants that. It's something where tell the audience when it comes down to it, when the president really is in these private moments, what is it that's driving him?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the strategic imperative for America's national interests, of course, it is America first. It's putting the American people first. And he has said with regard to these conflicts, in the vast majority of them, the United States doesn't have a particular strategic dog in the fight. But he really believes in trying to make peace and leveraging the full power of the White House and the United States of America to try to bring parties together to end unnecessary conflicts, try to save innocent life.
Well, and there's also, when you talk about the strategic imperative, there is a strategy, though. There's been a phrase that we've used on Human Events. We've used it on the War Room, and that's called the reverse Nixon. Who was it that came up with that again?
That would be me, Jack Posobiec.
Wow.
Yes.
Ambassador Monica Crowley, thank you so much for spending time with us here on Human Events Daily.
Thank you so much, Jack. Pleasure.
Thank you. God bless.